staff. Depending on her blood work and response to the various drugs, she would have these treatments every week, usually on a Thursday, or every couple weeks, depending on how she was responding to the treatment. The treatments, of course, were scheduled after school, so she would not miss any class time. We would spend many great hours at the doctor's office, talking about every subject imaginable. For the last 6 years, I looked forward to seeing Dorina at these treatments, and I never let anything stand in the way. I was always hoping that there would be some magic cure for cancer. 2 years ago, the cancer spread to her liver, and once again, Dr. Perkins was able to control the disease. Dorina continued to teach and loved her job and being with the students. Unfortunately, in the last month before her death, the tumors in her liver began to multiply, and then the cancer spread to her brain. I still thought that Dorina would never die because she was always so positive and fought so hard to live. I never wanted to think about life without her. As much as she never wanted to be in the spotlight, she had an amazing impact on so many lives. I will always remember my wonderful friend who truly made a difference in this world.
Please welcome our principal, Mr. Glenn Starkweather, who would like to share some very exciting news with us.
Didn't mean to do that. Guys, she would have been very proud of you tonight. She would have been just all in. I can remember the last play that I was at in the fall, I didn't understand a single word of German, okay? But I sat right by Dorina because I had learned on my third play that if you really wanted to see someone very proud, beaming, so excited at what her kids were doing, it was to watch Dorina. And she was just so proud of each and every one of you and what you did every single day. And she loved you. I'd like to read a poem to you that I discovered as I was trying to think of the things I wanted to say tonight. The author is unknown, and it's called God Made Teachers. God understood our thirst for knowledge and our need to be led by someone wiser. He needed a heart of compassion, of encouragement, and patience. Someone who would accept the challenge regardless of the opposition. Someone who could see the potential and believe in the best of the others. So he made teachers. I believe that's why Dorina was made. Because she cared. She had compassion. She wasn't going to give up on anyone. And most of all, she was never going to give up on one of her students. Dorina influenced many thousands of lives during her teaching career. Tonight we celebrate her passion for teaching and her love for students. You've heard from students, you've heard from individuals whose lives were molded and touched by Dorina. Yes, the students she taught learned German. But more importantly, they learned that there was an individual that cared for them, that motivated and encouraged them, that rooted for them in all aspects of their lives. Dorina was more than just a teacher. She was a friend. A light shining so that others knew which path to follow. She was an inspiration to all of us. She will be missed, but she'll never be forgotten. At this time, I'd like to ask our librarian, Ms. Stodds, to please join me on stage. Mrs. Dodds, students, staff, community, and friends gathered here tonight. I'm honored to announce that the Bullard High Library, from this moment on, will be known as the Dorena Koopman Library. The plaque that Mrs. Dodds is holding will be displayed in the library in memory of Dorena, its dedication and service to the students of Bullard High. And let me just close, gang, by letting you know that you're not the only one that Dorena would talk to from time to time. There were several mornings when she'd walk in my office with a big smile on her face and ask how I was doing and to tell me to hang in there and keep going. And by the time she left, I was saying, yes, ma'am. And what else do you need? So she was a lot to all of us. And we're very, as I said, we're very proud to have known her and to have had her part of our lives. Thank you very much.
I believe that people are made of body and spirit. We would like to honor Dorena in body and in spirit. Concerning the body, Dorena was happy to eat soup at La Boulangerie in Big Garden Village every day for many years. And I mean every day. More about that later. At this time, we honor her spirit by naming the Bullard Library in her memory. She truly felt the library was hallowed ground, and this is a very appropriate tribute. Thank you.
Frau Koopman's friend would now like to tell you about the Educational Employees Credit Union.
Thanks. First of all, I'd really like to thank Mrs. Dodds, Mr. Starkweather, and Superintendent Hanson for getting the library named after Dorena. I think it was an amazingly befitting gesture. I'm very excited about it, and I'd like to thank them for their efforts in doing it. You know, I've known Dorena for over 25 years. I went to college with Frau Schaefer, and through my friendship with Angie, I became friends with Dorena. And so although she was never technically my teacher, you know, she had that influence over me too. I mean, Angie and I were very capable college students, and yet we willingly would give up a Saturday night to go to a Goethe play with Dorena. It's kind of amazing influence. Dorena continued to be a friend of mine and an influence in the ensuing years. And in fact, a couple of years ago when I was thinking about taking a job here in Fresno, Dorena was a great influence, a great support, a great resource to me. And I'm so thrilled that in fact I allowed her to influence me and I found myself here in Fresno. And so in the last couple of weeks when people have been talking about setting up a memorial fund for Dorena, I thought there was no better place to do it than at Educational Employees Credit. And so for anyone who might be interested, there is a fund set up, the Dorena Koopman Memorial Scholarship Fund at EECU, and if anyone is so inclined, feel free to go to any branch or make a call to the credit union or mail anything in, and we'd be happy to take care of that, and it will go to a great cause. Thank you.
My name is Hannah Lilligren, and I am a fifth-year honors student of hers. I believe I can speak for many. Frau Koopman was someone special to me and will always have a big place in my heart. I was one of her students that came to her for help, advice, and a shoulder to cry on.